Hey there, Wondrous Works family. I am here doing something a little bit unorthodox, and this is another coachable moment about documenting your collection, about collection management. I have posted some other clips onto my YouTube channel and have received some feedback from some of my tribe members, and so for some new subscribers. So to all new subscribers, welcome. I've had a few to subscribe to the Wondrous Works channel within the past couple of weeks, and have been looking at their feedback. Thank you for the feedback. I definitely appreciated it. Um, but I also wanted to talk about a little bit, based upon some of that feedback, I wanted to talk a little bit with you, coachable moment, about documenting and the tools you can use to document your collection. I will say this to you. Someone to me said, it's a lot of hard work. I think once you get started, it'll be easier because it'll be about maintenance over time. It starts off being a little bit challenging, but like I said, once you get used to it and develop your own schedule, I think it'll be a lot more manageable for you. Again, these documenting your collection will help you with issues such as ensuring your collection values, valuation, and appraisals, and the like. When you spend the time to actually do that work on the front end, it does pay off on the back end, because it may be less time that an appraiser will need because all of your paperwork is in order. So less time that an appraiser will need to actually do the actual appraising and evaluation work, or evaluation work. And so I wanted to show you a couple of things, and this is again about my journey. If that will help you at all, I would love to know how you feel about some of the things I'm sharing. And if you have any questions, please post that in the comments of this coachable moment. Again, we're talking about that work that comes with collecting, which is documenting your collection and collection management. When I first started out collecting, I didn't want to actually spend any more money than I had to in the way of collection management. And so what I started out doing was simply developing an Excel spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, and was able to do that. And I'm having some challenges. Was able to do that, and over time was able to modify the Excel spreadsheet. And I will tell you when I decided to go in a different direction. And that had to do with the more work that I was collecting, the more it seemed that I needed some additional functionality. And so the more I was collecting, I actually started to look at other tools, and I'll explain to you why, other tools to support my collection management duties, if you will. So when I started out, I simply did an Excel spreadsheet, and you may not be able to see because I was trying to get it close in and zoom. I may not be able to see, but I started out trying to number each page, develop an index, have the artist's last name, first name, and the category. And the category was whether it's a contemporary. Your category can be anything from the type of art it is, whether it's abstract, realism, sculpture, things of that nature can be reflected in your category. For me, it was whether or not this was a master work or whether it was contemporary work. But I know I have other artist friends that focus on building their contemporary collection, and so they talk about whether it's realism or expressionism or abstract. Talk about the title, whether or not you have an image of the work, and you always want to try to capture an image of your work. And if you're capturing the image of the work and it's a print, you want to capture the edition size, and the number on the top, which is the print number, right? You also want to capture images on the artist's signature. You want to capture an overall image of the print itself, And if you were doing some more work with respect to ensuring your work, if it's not framed, appraisers may even want to see the back. This will let them know or give you a sense of the condition of the work. And if there are little nuances to the condition, like some levels of toning or browning in your work or aging in your work, you might want to capture that as well. If the title of the piece is on the work, you want to capture the title of the piece. So in some instances, it's always good. I mean, we have smartphones, we have iPads, we have tablets to capture various images of your work and keep those images in your cloud or on an external drive, somewhere that you can get to it in case of emergency if need be, or for insurance purposes. The medium of the work, and for me, if it's an original, it would be whether it's acrylic or whether it's oil, or whether it's a watercolor, whether it's mixed media or pencil, graphite, and the like, the year that the work was created, and of course, whether or not you have documentation. Before I talk to you about that documentation, including your bill of sale, including any certificates of authenticity, if you've had the work framed, the bill of sale from the framing, if there's been an appraisal that the gallery documents about appraisal that the gallery has forwarded to you, or previous owners if you bought it through private sale, include that as well as a part of your documentation. And then if you got it from auction, including any of the information that the auctioneers provided for that particular work. And then the provenance, if you've gotten it directly from the artist, indicate in the provenance is the history of the work, where the work has been. So if you got it directly from the artist, then you would list that. If you got it from an auction, you would list the auctioneer. If you got it from a previous director or a gallerist, you would list them in your provenance. And of course, size and your purchase price. You can also add a column for framing. If you got the work framed, what was the cost of the frame? And then if you have a sense of the replacement value or an appraised value of the work, you would also list that in your spreadsheet as well. You can do a lot of different things with your spreadsheet. You can create a mail merge and keep binders of your documentation together that way. I'm going to show you that in a minute. So I've gone through the gamut, right? I've gone through the gamut, and I've kind of evolved into different ways of collection management. Because I'm in a new place with collection management at this point, it's been a while since I updated this spreadsheet. This is when I was still growing my collection. When I got to a certain number of works in my collection and then different various mediums and then added sculptures and things like that, I decided to look at some different functionality and collection management tools that I needed, which meant that there was some additional investment of funds attached to that. So I'm hoping that if you have any questions, I will also share that I did post in here an information source about the work. So if there are some websites online, some URLs that I can link to, I copied those URLs and into this information source that I could always click on that, right click on that, and get additional information about the work that I purchased. Many artists have websites, even if it's Instagram, or they have websites, or they have pages through gallerists, and so you can always link that to your spreadsheet. Now, with that said, I'm going to move over a little bit. If you bear with me, I wanted to share with you what I was able to do with this Excel spreadsheet. With this Excel spreadsheet, I was able to develop a mail merge, and that allowed me to have a different way of keeping my documentation. Even that has changed for me over time. But it's allowed me to have a way to keep documentation. And I'll give you an example. I was able to, I don't know if you can see this, I was able to actually have a binder of my work. Now, this is what some of you say, man, you're going overboard. Well, I started to do this because I was working with my appraiser and I wanted to have paperwork available at my fingertips. Nowadays, you can put it in your cloud, you can scan it in, keep it in a virtual folder. At that point, I was looking for something where I had it in different places, so I could have it in the house at the touch. If I needed to scan it and send it, I could do that. But I took this approach for different reasons, and also this helped me with what I call cataloging. So, the base or the primary information source was this spreadsheet. So I was able to take this spreadsheet, convert it into a mail merge, and actually print out the cells of what you see on the screen that I just shared with you in the mail merge. Here's the other thing that was interesting. Everything that I just shared with you, I was able to place in this mail merge. I was able to also place in this particular pocket information about the artist, an image of the work, right? And if I had the bill of sale or framing, any of that information, any of that paperwork I had, certificates of authenticity, I could keep in this particular binder. Now, I did actually put in tabs. I got real meticulous with this, put in tabs and actually by the artist. And because I have multiple pieces by certain artists, I just put in like, if I had 3 Betty Andrews, then I put in a Betty Andrews 1, Andrews 2, and Andrews 3. So I was able to do this work. Now, this helped me a lot because if my appraiser needed to get back to me about something that I sent to her or submitted to her, it was easy for me to go into the system, to go into this particular binder and find it. Now, here's the thing about the binder. If you're starting out, this is a good alternative for you, even if you're midway. But let's say you've amassed let's say 100 or more pieces of artwork. This can be quite a daunting task. And actually, I'm only showing you one. At the time that I was keeping up with this, I started out with 2 binders and then had to add a third. If you can see how thick this binder is, then you will know that in and of itself, depending on how much you're collecting, if you say you have a stopping point, you're not going to collect more than 3 or 4 more than 20 or 30 pieces, then you're good to go. But if you're collecting and your collection gets into the hundreds, then you kind of start maybe wanting to look into another way of documenting and doing collection management or cataloging pieces in your collection. So I'm going to go back to the laptop. I'm hoping this is helpful for some of you, and I look forward to hearing from you if you have questions for me about collecting management, and documenting your collection and cataloging in the inventory piece of collection management. I want to kind of go and share with you what I am currently working with. I'm currently working with the web-based tool, and I don't know if I get it too close to you, guys, it might fall off of the table, but I'm working with currently a web-based tool. Now, what I like about the web-based tool is that I can go in here in the drop of a hat. I can update, I can make adjustments, I can put in as many images as I want to put in it. There's no limit to that, and I can run reports as opposed to collection management costs, and by that I mean framing, appraisals, what it costs for the appraisal and things like that. And I could even break that down to appraising one piece. Like if I'm getting updated appraisal or valuation information about a piece that I've had for a number of years, every other year, every 2 or 3 years, I'm actually asking for my appraiser to update the evaluation or the valuation of the piece, keeping track of all of that. It also allows me to run run reports. And so if I were to go to my reports documents, I can actually, my last report I ran a couple of months ago, I can save the report and view it. And it is really, it gives me a full look, if you will, of all of the works, let me move the camera a little bit, of all of the works that I have in the collection. If I have actually traded a work with some of my collector friends, it will share with me. I never take anything out. I may retire a piece to say that I have donated the work to a museum, or donated the work to or gifted the work to a family member or a friend, or donated the work to a museum or an academy, or even consigned the work to a nonprofit organization or an exhibit. I have all of that, and I can see that in this particular tool. So when we're talking to you about collection management, just want you to know that it can be as simple as an Excel spreadsheet. It can be as a little bit more sophisticated in a web-based tool that I have access to. As long as I have access to the internet, I can always get access to this from wherever I am. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. If you'd like to learn more and would like a coachable moment in YouTube about another topic, please let me know. Also, please feel free to share the Wondrous Works channel. It is primarily focused on all things African American art, all things art collecting and the like. We will be adding additional content probably twice a month or so, maybe more, depending on what your requests are, what you'd like to know about, what you'd like to see more information about. And also I'm available on Facebook at Wondrous Works page on Facebook, as well as Instagram, Wondrous Works 378. Please pass this along, share this with whomever, and let's all grow in our excitement for collecting art together. Hey, have a wonderful day and stay safe.